to Ridecast, the podcast of the Widow's Sons Riding's Chapter. Any opinions expressed in this episode do not represent those of the Widow's Sons Masonic Bikers Association UK and Ireland. You can find us on Facebook at Widow's Sons-Riding's Chapter, Instagram at Widow's Sons_Riding's Chapter, at our website ridings.wsmba.uk, and you can contact the show directly by emailing ridecast@hotmail.com. Right, that's the housekeeping over and done with. Kickstands up, on with the show. Hello, and welcome to Ridecast Season 2, Episode 1. Welcome back, everyone. We're into Season 2, and Happy New Year to all our listeners and to all the viewers on the Ridecast channel on YouTube. Happy New Year to you all. This is Yakka, the host of Ridecast, and with me I have my co-host, Gremlin.
Hello, Happy New Year, everybody. I'm not saying I'm live from the Kremlin, especially with what's going on in Ukraine.
And we also have Pigpen. Hi, Pigpen.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, do you all have a good Christmas and New Year? Did Santa bring you everything you wanted?
Do you know, it's that long ago, I can't even remember.
Do you know what? Gremlin's already got everything he wants, hasn't he? So
I don't think Gremlin got a Honda, so...
I got a nice pair of Harley Davidson slippers.
Oh, they're smart, them.
Oh, eh?
Is that from Tess?
Yes.
So what were they, about 250 quid?
Yeah, they won't stick to the floor very well. They'll slip everywhere.
I've broken down twice.
Yeah.
Can't go downstairs in them.
Yeah, you can't walk in a straight line either. He's wobbling all over the place in him. Anyway, okay, guys. So
You're only jealous.
Let's crack on with the show then. So, what have we been up to the last 4 weeks since we recorded and released the December episode, the season finale last year?
We're actually thinking, how on earth did we make it through a whole season without being arrested?
I know, a whole 10 episodes. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Arrested or beaten up.
Okay, let me start then, guys. New Year's Day. The weather was fairly mild. Roads were dry-ish. So we all did. Well, they were they? We all decided to go out for a ride. Can anyone remember that far back as to where we actually went that day?
It was exceptionally mild, if I remember.
It was.
New Year's Day? Did I turn up?
Yes, you did.
You did?
Yeah.
With Tess?
No, I
did we? Oh, we went to Pateley Bridge.
There we go.
Pateley Bridge.
Oh,
and we actually found a shop that was serving coffee. So
was that New Year's Day?
That was New Year's Day, yeah. 1st of January, mate. Otherwise known as New Year's Day.
It's that long ago, isn't it? It was a Saturday. I remember that.
Where did we meet? I can't even remember where we met on that one. Oh, it was the garage, the Morrison's garage opposite your work one.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Us three, House, Diesel, and Tess. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so. But Trip didn't come, did he? No.
I don't think so. No, I was looking at the photographs on Facebook, and there was only the 6 of us, I think.
Yeah, it was a particularly mild day, and it was nice to get out, blow the cobwebs away, and just think this could be the start of a good year.
There were a few mucky patches on the roads. My bike was a bit mucky by the time I got home, but it was nice to get out and blow the cobwebs away.
Yep.
And have a bit of fresh air and ride off some of that excessive alcohol we've been drinking over Christmas.
Yeah, there were no. Was there any disasters? Was there a separation? What happened?
No, I tell you what happened. Tess was reluctant to
overtake. Diesel came.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. Diesel stopped. So Tess was behind Diesel. Diesel pulled over and wanted to get something out of his top box. That's what the delay was.
Right. Okay.
It was House. Also, it was House that was reluctant to overtake.
Yeah, someone was reluctant. I remember looking in my mirrors because I was near the front. I think I was behind you, and Pigpen was riding not only on the wrong side of the road, but he was in the verge on the wrong side of the road, trying to hint a little bit, like it's clear to overtake if you want to go.
Yeah, I think House got a bit confused by that cyclist and the new rules that he wasn't allowed to pass him or something, doing 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, so that was nice to get out. Right, the next item. Yeah. We finally got to see the provincial video.
We did.
That's finally been released. We've been talking about that for the last, 5 episodes? Because it was back in October. Was it September I think it was September or October when we were doing the filming for that.
It was August when you filmed it.
Was it really that long ago?
End of August when you filmed it. And then the bit that I was cut out of was the Squires ride, which is the first week of September.
That's right. Yeah.
Edited out.
Out.
It was, yeah.
Well, that's been released now. So if anyone wants to take a look, do a search for.
Well, between you and me, I'm not in it, so it's not worth watching.
You're in it. You're in an aerial shot from above because you were caught by the drone camera, but that's about it.
You can see the oil slick.
Yeah, following him. It's just rain. Well, his bike's parked in the Squire's car park, and there's a big rainbow around it, isn't there?
Like the Valdez disaster.
What's it called? What's the title of that video? In case anyone wants to look it up, it's Join Freemasonry in West Yorkshire, I think, isn't it?
No idea.
But I couldn't tell you what it's called. I got sent the link, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think it's Join Freemasonry in West Yorkshire. So,
well, we could we put the link on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, what a great idea.
Yeah, probably. I could maybe put it in a playlist, add it to a playlist on the channel or something.
I'm sure we can put it in somewhere as a.
Yeah. It's on the Facebook. It's on our Facebook page anyway. So if you want to go to the Facebook page, it's on there.
For those who don't know what it's about attracting new members to Freemasonry, and the province of Yorkshire West Riding took the initiative to do a promotional and attraction video. Basically shows Freemasonry in the traditional regalia going into a temple, but then it also shows what people do as interests and hobbies outside of Freemasonry. So obviously the Widow's Sons were asked to attend because it's quite a hot topic, really, motorcycling Freemasons. We got
a nice slice of the pie on that video, actually. It's a 9-minute video and we're in about 2 minutes of it, I think.
You lot might be, I wasn't.
I've got a quick question. I'm just out of the blue. I've just remembered I need to ask you this. Gremlin, have you finally seen The World's Fastest Indian?
No, I didn't. I tried looking for it over Christmas. I can't find what channel it's on.
You said you downloaded it for the aeroplane for when you were going on the plane. Don't you have it on a hard drive somewhere?
Yeah, but I deleted it because I needed to put another film on afterwards. So I tried to look on Netflix, and I will. Can we cut this episode? Can we cut this bit out because it's embarrassing now? I will watch it.
Not to worry. Not to worry.
I think he recorded a different film.
Yeah, World's Fastest something else.
Yeah, that's what Tess calls him.
Yeah. So, Brother Secretary, as you're speaking to you now as Secretary of the chapter, what can you tell us about this bizarre influx of candidates we've had the last couple of months? We've had a real, storming of the castle. We've had loads of new candidates register. What's going on?
To be fair, a lot of it is down to the promotional video that's been put out there. So there's a lot of brethren that didn't know how to contact the Widow's Sons and suddenly have seen it, and they've been asking questions. And I've had inquiries from a couple of members saying, "How does my friend who's in my lodge become up? He's got a motorbike and wants to join."
Right.
Also, we seem to be a lot more proactive with putting the Facebook posting. One real big attraction was the postings that we put after Buzz's third degree ceremony and patching in. So that went onto the province Facebook pages. And I think we got 1 or 2 candidates from that as well. So we've now got about 4 or 5 new candidates in the last 2 months.
So all they need to do now is actually turn up, come out on the rides. And
Brother Giles turned up today on his Blackbird.
Yeah, I've had Keith out with us as well. So to all those new candidates, make sure you get on your bikes, and when the weather warms up, get out for rides with us. The only way you're going to get patched into the chapter is to actually come out with us.
Yeah.
You can't get your patch mail order. It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that.
We've also kicked off our Zoom meetings again recently, haven't we? We've been doing a lot more Zoom meetings. It seems to be popular, although the problem we're having is lodges of instruction and regular lodge meetings, and getting a date for everyone to attend is
and to be honest, life is getting back to normal. Work, other interests, hobbies. So it was great while the first and second lockdowns were on, because you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't meet anywhere. But now I think it's fine in some of the winter months, but generally we're going to be out there, we're going to be riding, we're going to be meeting people, so we don't necessarily need to have the Zooms anymore, do we?
Well, we're going to suggest we maybe go to a Sunday or something, because I think nights during the week just don't seem to work with people working and lodging and practicing. And
I've got a problem with Sunday night. I like to watch the heartbeat on.
I think let's just see how February looks, because February can be a cold month, can't it? And if it turns icy and horrible weather, then we might be stuck on a few more Zoom meetings yet.
Yeah.
But if it turns mild, as it seems to be doing at the moment, then we might be able to get out on a weekend for a ride. It's getting lighter on an evening as well. So,
what do you mean, like 4:45?
No, gradually though. over the next couple of 3 weeks, we might end up being able to pop to Strawberry Fields or Squires.
What on an evening?
Yeah,
you might.
You might. You only live 5 minutes away. You'll have time to get there, have a cup of tea and come out.
What are you on about? It takes me about 25 minutes, half an hour to get to Squires.
What, to get to Strawberry Fields?
No, to get to Squires. Strawberry Fields is about 10 minutes. So, yeah you're right.
I'm going to say either or. They're about 50 minutes of both of them, and probably 25 miles each way for me.
Yeah. It's about 18 miles to Squires.
We only go to Strawberry Fields because it's near Muppet's house, and it's not even in our province.
Exactly.
I'm going to say, I haven't seen. Who is this Muppet?
But also, we did speak about having a curry night in February or March, but it fell on deaf ears.
No, I thought that was a great idea.
Pop that one out there again, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I'm well up for that. In fact, I mentioned that to Vicky, and Vicky's like, "Oh, let's get a hotel over there and have a night in the hotel."
What, Garforth?
Well, anywhere nearby. It depends where we're going for the curry, really. Where's
Garforth?
Is that where we're going?
Is it? I said it. So Tessa said it's the Agra, and she said, "God," she said, "It's not the Agra.
Agra, isn't it?
It's Agra.
Agra."
But also the reason why I chose that, it's a great curry house and it's easy to get to from all of the province.
Well, let's crack on and do that. I think that's a great idea.
I don't actually remember you saying it at any time, but
I think you put it out on the
chat group.
Yeah.
How did you?
So today we had a little meetup today at Strawberry Fields. Speak of the devil. There was about 8 or 9 of us showed up there, including Frank and Bobby and Peter, our newest member, who just got patched in at the Christmas party, was there with his new cut, with all patched up.
He looked very shiny, didn't he? Very shiny and clean.
It needs weathering down, doesn't it? That patch is way too shiny. But there was a few of us there, so we had a cup of tea. We arrived about 11, set off from there at about midday back to York, to Castlegate House, which is a Masonic building. It was a Masonic open day today. So they had the lodge open. They had Freemasons in the lodge showing members of the public around. And we were asked if we could turn up with a few bikes to put them in the car park on display for the public. And we ended up showing up with about 6-7 bikes. So they were on display and went down real well. We had kids climbing on the bikes. Just like it was like being back at Eldwick Gala again, wasn't it?
Well, I'm glad nobody got on my bike today.
We had a few on mine and Jag's bikes and taking photographs and that. And they had a little look around the lodge building, and hopefully will have helped with a little bit of recruitment into Freemasonry. So we'll see. We'll see. Excellent. Right. What about what's going on in the future? What have we got coming up?
We have got
Diesel.
From a member's point of view, we have Diesel having his raising ceremony on the Friday, the 11th of February at Harrogate and Clara Lodge 1001, and that's in Harrogate. And after that, we will be patching him in after the ceremony. On the day after, we are having our annual general meeting in Squires, 9 o'clock meet. For a full English
breakfast at 9 o'clock. Meeting starts at 10.
Where we will have a full change around of all the officers: new president, new secretary, new treasurer, new VP.
Yeah. It'll be me stepping down as president, and all being well, providing the ballot go in Gremlin's favour. Gremlin will be taking over as president. Our Pigpen here will hopefully be taken over as secretary. So you've got your work cut out there, Gremlin, having Pigpen as a secretary.
Why? Is he that bad? I think he'll do very good.
I'm sure he'll be brilliant.
And that's why he's volunteered. I think he'll do a sterling job.
Provided you can get him to answer his phone, you'll be quids in. What's going on with the branding? Anyone know about the branding? We've got the dates. We've got the dates confirmed. End of March, isn't it?
The dates have been penciled in, but I thought we were still waiting for confirmation from the Scottish chapter that they've been given permission for us to go to Duncarron Medieval Fort
Yeah.
And the Scottish restrictions are a little worse than ours.
Yeah, the Scottish Parliament or whatever it is up there still haven't decided on their COVID regulations, but it's a few months away. So I'm sure that all those restrictions will be lifted by then.
Yeah.
For those listeners out there who haven't got a clue what the branding is, Gremlin, can you give them a quick rundown of what the branding is?
The branding is held up in Duncarron Medieval Fort, which I believe the Freemasons have given a lot of charitable donations for. It's an education centre, and it's for educating kids really into the history of Scotland, which is a great idea for the local kids there to understand it. And they've had charitable donations and gifts from, I think it was Russell Crowe that gave this massive, it's not a medieval spear shooting thing, isn't it? I think
like a trebuchet or a giant crossbow.
Yeah, giant crossbow, something like that. They do a lot of filming there. I think Outlander was filmed there and certain other shows. So, and it gets money from charitable donations. And as I say, the Widow's Sons up there have given a lot of donations. So they are allowed one weekend a year when they can have this patching in ceremony. And it's really just a gathering of brethren from all over the country. And I can't go too much into the branding ceremony because a lot of people haven't had it, obviously. But from being able to wear the regalia afterwards, you have a Widow's Sons patch in the form of a square with widows and sons. And it has to go on the front of your cut. I remember some tool actually put it on the back of his cut and he got a right bollocking.
That was Gremlin that did that. Yes, you get to wear the Widow's Son square. You also get a branding on your cut.
Of WS on your cut, yes.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun. It's a good meeting. It's freezing.
At the risk of sounding like a soft southerner, it's freezing up there, isn't it? They deliberately hold it in, the early spring, late winter. So you go up there, you're camping, it's Scotland, it's freezing.
You had ice on the inside of your tent, didn't you?
Yes, we did, yeah.
Well, the year after, because I went the year after and it was slightly warmer.
It was a bit wetter for you, wasn't it? Yeah. Muddy. And so, it's a case of you go up there, you put up with the conditions, you have a great time, good fun, lots of drinking going on, gets a bit raucous, but you're out in the middle of nowhere in Duncarron Valley, near the Duncarron Reservoir, which is near Stirling, if anyone's interested. And that opens certain times of the year to the public, and it's like a historically accurate medieval village.
But from a camping point of view, it's not a campsite. There is one toilet. There's no shower blocks.
No.
So yes.
You're living off the land up there a bit, aren't you? You feel a bit like Rambo.
You camped, I camped. A lot of people do go in hotels. There's southern softers.
Some take vans and sleep in the van.
Yeah, that's fine. That's classed as camping. But I was in a tent.
But those WSS, as they're known, Widow's Son Scotland, those guys are crazy and they really know how to throw a party. Yeah. So if you're a Widow's Son, it's like taking, what is it, the fourth step in Freemasonry?
It
is. Equivalent
is.
For the Widow's Sons. So.
It's the completion of your...
Widow's Son's degree.
Widow's Son's degree, yes.
Yeah. If I can just mention as well, we've got the National coming up this year. I know it's a long way off, it's the end of July, but that's something to look forward to this summer. That's being held in Bishop Auckland this year by the northern, what do you call that group, that region of chapters? It's 3 chapters, isn't it? It's Durham, Northumberland, and
it's the ones below Scotland and above Yorkshire.
Yes. I can't remember the third chapter. And any members of that chapter listening, I apologise. I'm ashamed. Northumberland, Durham, and what's the third one? I can't remember.
Yep, you're right. I can't remember either. Sorry.
Anyway, so that's a 3 or 4 day event. I think
Thursday. Apparently, you can get the early bird Thursday,
Friday.
I think we're all most of us are going up Friday, coming back Sunday.
And just to warn all the other chapters listening, we will be lifting the crown on the Tug of War event this year. So watch out.
I'm staying in a nice hotel with a spa, and
we've got Pigpen on our Tug of War team this year.
We are. Apparently, Pigpen is notorious for having a good tug.
So we're looking forward to the branding. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah. For anybody, also, right, okay, earlier date in the diary, Saturday, May the 14th, to be confirmed, will be a brothers breakfast meeting at Wetherby Masonic Hall, which is Kirkdeaton Road, Wetherby. And that is open to all members, all Masons, non-Masons, family. And it is going to be hosted by Lascelles Lodge, of which I become master on the Monday before, and hopefully president of the Riders chapter. So there's already a lot of interest from that. So it's going to be a good occasion, that. So just got to get it confirmed with the caterer, so there'll be more details coming out. Are we turning up on our bikes for that one? Yes, absolutely. On the bikes? Okay, absolutely. Cool. Widow Son's invasion, then. Brilliant. Correct. And you've got a little bit of an update on your Germany trip, I believe. Yep, we had a Zoom meeting last week, and I think there's about 9 of us who are planning to go to Germany. I've got Captain just to rejig the dates, just because we thought we may want to spend an extra night in Berlin, but then thinking about it, I think we're going to do Friday and then head back on the following Friday. So we're not going to do 2 nights in Berlin, but it'll give people a flavour if they want to go out to Germany at a later time and explore more. So I think that's what we're going to stick to the original plan. So we've got 2 nights on the ferry and then 6 nights in Germany. Brilliant. Plenty to look forward to this year. Yeah, and that is a setting sail on Friday, the 2nd of September. Good. And welcome back to the second segment of the show. This month, we've all prepared separate items that we want to talk about, which makes a change. We've actually prepared something. I think you're going to kick off, aren't you, Gremlin? What is it you wanted to talk about this month? Well, call me a one-trick pony, but it's about the new Harley Davidson launches. Oh, not again. No,
one dick what?
One-trick pony, Pigpen.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever you heard. Well, do you know what? Give them their due. They know how to launch a new product. And whatever you might think of it, there is a lot of razzmatazz because it's an American organization. So they brand it as a world premiere event. And this is going to make Pigpen laugh. Further, faster.
Ooh, faster.
What they launched it with, a catapult.
No, it's the new range of bikes. And it would take a close look at the model's parts and apparel featured in Further, Faster.
A new model. So they've brought some new parts out, or have they just rearranged them in a different format and called it a different bike? Because that's all they tend to do is get the 16 parts that one's made of and just move them round a bit.
No, they actually haven't brought out any new bikes as such. In fact, some of the range have gone.
There we go then.
But it's really focusing on the tourers and the baggers in a lot of respects. And
can I just interrupt? How do they do? Do they do these launches at Harley Davidson's agents all around the country on the same day, or is it?
No, this is online. So it's a video that was released 4 p.m. on Wednesday, the 26th of January, and it was actually quite an interesting video because it starts. Did you know that there's a bagger touring season in America? You know, round racetracks.
What exactly is a bagger, Gremlin? What is a bagger?
A bagger.
It's a bagger.
A bagger is a bike that's got bags on it, saddlebags on it. Okay. I think that's where the old phraseology "a bagger" comes from. So, and I think in the bagger series, you've certainly got Indians, you've got Harley Davidson. I'm not sure of the other mates, probably because it's in America. There might not be other ones, but they've got some pretty serious guys that race these bikes. You know, they are tuned incredibly well. They go incredibly fast. And they look great racing around tracks.
Relatively speaking.
They got up. One bike got up to 73 miles an hour on this track.
God, I bet he had to turn his flat cap round all the way, didn't he? So peak were at back.
So, anyway, so the range of Harley Davidsons, for people that don't know the models, you've got the Sportster, you've got the Cruisers, and then you've got the Tourers. And there was a new Sportster came out last year. They've replaced the 48s, the 883. So there's just one Sportster now, the 1250, which is based, I think it's the Revolution Max engine 1250, which they built that around, and also the adventure bike, which is the Pan America 1250 as well. Now, the new, this will make you laugh. So the new announcements for the Sportster S and the Adventure range, the Pan American, is new colours.
Oh,
so there you go. So there's a new range of colours that's come out. Pretty much the same bikes as before. I don't think there's been any upgrades to those because those were brand new last year. Now, what they've done is they've gone for, when I say further, faster, they've increased the engine sizes as standard with the ST range. So I've got a Street Glide S, 107 cubic inches. They were 114 last year, cubic inches. And they're now 117 cubic inches as standard, 1963 cc. And you've got the Street Glide ST and you've got the Road Glide ST. So the class is the performance bagger with West Coast styling and road ripping power of the Milwaukee 8 117 engine.
Are you sure it's 1963 cc or was 1963 the year it was designed?
1963 cc, which if you've got a Triumph Rocket, it seems a little low, really, because there's a 2.5, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So did I hear you right that they're not making the 883s anymore?
Not the range in the UK. It's the Sportster S. You've got the Sportster S. You've got the, as I say, the Cruisers, and I don't know if they're still making certain ones in America. If I go.
Is that the pig what Badger rides?
Yeah.
An 883 was the first bike I got, really.
They're super popular. They're a good starting bike for new riders.
Yeah, they're very good. It was the...
Looks like it's made out of Meccano.
Oh, God. Mine was the Iron 883. For a new rider taking one of those, it was good. I loved it. I loved the colour of it, the style of it, and that's what got me into the Harley Davidson range, because I vowed I would never have one. So anyway, so they've gone for also the prices have gone up. That's another thing they didn't say. Welcome to 2022, and by the year, everything seems to have gone up by at least £1,000 as a standard starting price.
That's a big hike, isn't it? Big hike.
Yeah, it is. And one thing you do with the Harley Davidsons is you put extras on. You customize it. You buy new pipes, air filters. So there's, I think House was struggling with his one last year because the 2021 series, whether it was Vantonines or something had happened to do with air, with emissions, and you couldn't do a stage 1 upgrade. Apparently that's come out now. So there'll be a lot of people who bought the 2021s last year that couldn't do any modifications, and they can do that now. Tess was very lucky with her Street Bob because she got Jekyll and Hyde, and those were actually the only sort of pipes, but they were $2,500.
Yeah.
So, aren't they? Yeah, it's not a cheap alternative. But also, when you take a look at the Street Glide ST, starts at $28,000. They say 27,295. It's 28,000 really, and that's with the standard colours of black, and I'm not sure what the other colour is. Then any other paint jobs, an addition on top of that, you're going to get whatever else you want to get with it.
So, what do you say, Pigpen? Are you going to convert to Harley Davidson? Are you a believer?
No, I've enough pigs on the farm. I don't need one in my garage.
Listen, can I just say, somebody today came out with a cracking comment, didn't they? They took a look at Pigpen's Honda and they said, it's a Japanese impersonation of a Harley.
Closely followed by looking at your Harley and going, well, that won't go around corners.
I know, he was very rude, wasn't he? He started off well, then he did let himself down. Now, so we've got the we've got the Road Glide, we've got the Street Glide, but then they've also bought out the 2022 CVO lineup, and those are 133 cubic inch engines now.
What's that in metric?
I'm just going to try and you can do a stage 4 upgrade, I think, to a 133, and this now comes as standard. Kenny's got a CVO, but I think his was a 117.
I don't understand these imperial measurements, mate. It's what is it, like a 1.9, a 2 litre, or what?
Do you know what? To be fair, for the CVO, I think it's going to be over 2 litre. I'll just take a quick look at the specification.
What's yours? What's your CVO?
Mine's 1745.
But what is it in cubic inches?
1.8.
No, in cubic inches, it's like
114.
114, right? Okay.
So my Street Glides are 107. My breakouts are 107. Sorry, my breakout to 114.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's weird.
So you've got the CVO street glides, and there's a difference. They start at 36,000.
Big, isn't it?
Big money.
It is big money. And the size of that engine, you've got, and that's a 1.9cc engine. It's the same size engine. And it's the Milwaukee 8117, but you must get a lot
I've got to say, I do like the Pan American. I was watching a YouTube video. They had three bikes on, and they were trying them against each other, green lane in, on road, off road. They had the new 1250 GS, which is the BMW. They had the KTM, which I believe is like a 1290 or something, KTM. Yeah. And then they had the Pan American. And it, to be fair, against those other two bikes, the Pan American was definitely in third place, but it's the first year, isn't it? It's the first year that Harley Davidson have done it, and they're dipping their toes in the water, and I think they've made a beautiful looking adventure bike, and I really like the look of them.
Do you know what sort of pricing the BMW start? Because the Pan American start at 14,795, the Pan America Special is 16,795.
The GS is much dearer than that.
But it's like anything. I don't think you get your panniers or top box with that. You know, all those are extra, aren't they? I take it that's the same with the BMW.
Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah. You can.
I remember when Steve were getting his triple black, he said it were whatever price it was plus panniers and all
this video I was watching. One of the problems they were having with the Pan American was some of the green lanes they were going to. It had been raining quite heavily, and some of these green lanes had got quite muddy. And now and again, these big heavy bikes, they were losing control a little bit, and they were having to stop and put their feet down. Well, of course, if you stop on the Pan American, the suspension squats down, doesn't it? So that was getting them even more stuck. So I don't know if there's some sort of a setting or a controller to stop that from happening, but they kept finding themselves getting stuck more than the other two bikes because of this automatic suspension drop that it does for when you're stationary.
So I mentioned about the Cruiser. They've got rid of the Slim and they have tarted up the Lowrider, and you've got the Lowrider S and the Lowrider ST. And the ST is a bagger version, so it comes with panniers already on there and a bigger fairing. A bit like a Road Kings, a Road Glide sort of fairing. The prices again, 18,000 for the Lowrider S and 19 for the ST. The traditional ones are still in there. The Fat Boy, I mean, that's gone up to 21,000 now. And then the only change in there is they've now got a Heritage Classic, because I think there was the Heritage before, and now it's the Heritage Classic to finish off the range of that, the 2022 Heritage Classic.
Well, you're about due a new model, I think, aren't you, Gremlin?
Well, I have stated, I'm going to state it again, 2022 will be the year that I do not buy a new motorbike.
We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
I've got enough. I don't need a new one. So Lowrider S, Lowrider ST, they look great bikes. Go out and try one. Try one and then buy one. And I think the beauty with all motorbikes is the finance options available, whether it's one of those PCPs where you obviously put down a couple of thousand and then you've got up to 5 years or whatever of a particular payment, and then you can either hand it back or buy it.
Yeah. So balloon payment at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, we all done on the Harley launch?
We are. Obviously, there's new clothing out there, so I shall be rushing in. No doubt Tess will be rushing in to take a look at the clothes.
Yeah, you need a new £700 jacket. Definitely.
That is where things do start to add up as well. Is the clothes that you're buying with it as well. And I think that's me done.
Good. Right then. So
there's one thing my old granddad used to say: a fool and his money are soon parted.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to the next item, which I believe is a little lesson from our Pigpen. What you got to talk about, Pigpen?
Oh, we were just going to sort of start slipping into sort of what to do and look after with your bike over the winter period if you sort of either riding it or putting it away.
Right, okay.
I know
this actually came about because Pigpen told me that he had to rush out and get an MOT for his motorbike. Which one was it?
The Kawasaki.
The Ninja?
Yes.
Yeah, and so what came with, as I had a bike that needed an MOT, I didn't quite understand what it involved. And Pigpen likes to do his own tinkering. So the question was, what do you do to prepare your bike if it's going in for winter storage, or if you want to start to ride it again after winter?
One thing people always forget to do is brake fluid and clutch fluid. Every year, without fail, they should be changed. You know, it's like the Honda. When I got the Honda, it had never obviously been done, and that's when it had all gunked up in the.
And that caused you real problems.
Yeah, that caused me no end of problems trying to work out what that was until I found that little bit of.
I've got a question for you, Pigpen. Changing the clutch fluid and brake fluid, do you just top up at the top and just pump it through like bleeding the brake?
Yeah, simple as that.
And you do what, 4 or 5 top ups on the master cylinder?
Yeah,
and that's it changed. Right. Okay.
Yeah, 2 or 3 top ups.
If you are new to this, would you read the owner's manual or would you look at a YouTube video?
I'd look at a YouTube video.
Yeah. You can find anything on YouTube now for tutorials on bike maintenance and bike repairs.
If you've got a degree in reading manuals, then do that. But most of them just don't really seem to make sense. If you follow a YouTube tutorial, you know, it is a simple thing you can do at home.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you basically want a spanner, a piece of tube, an empty pop bottle, and some fluid.
And with the YouTube tutorials, what you find is you get some helpful souls out there that are recording themselves doing a particular job on the bike, and they'll say, "Oh, this bit's a tricky bit, and I use this tool for this, and this, and and they'll show you little workarounds and way of doing things and what to look out for, and it makes. I mean, I did my water pump last year, and that was all from watching a YouTube tutorial. It was absolutely brilliant. Anyway, so what else apart from clutch fluid, brake fluid? What else are we talking about, Pigpen?
Chain and sprockets. If anybody's got chain and sprockets, or what's yours, Gremlin? You got like a
belt,
elastic band or something around yours, or something?
Yeah, rubber band. Yeah, rubber
belt driven. So should you deflate your tires for putting your bike into storage, or should you blow them up fully before they go into storage and then check them again when you get them out?
Blow them up, but if you've got paddock stands, ideally,
get them off the ground. Yeah,
take the weight off the bike if you can.
Yeah.
A couple of reasons: one, it's good for the tires, and 2, it's good for the shocks and the front forks.
Yeah.
Another thing, at least if you can, try and stand your bike more upright.
Are paddock stands bike specific, or will they tend to be for most bikes?
Bit of both.
Yeah, they tend to be either for what they call bobbins, which is where you have on your forks, you'll have little bobbins that it hooks under, or you do get this sort of a
universal.
Yeah, universal stand. I don't know. You'd probably want maybe some girder or something to hold a Harley up. I don't know. Bricks, probably.
I have one of those hydraulic lifts that go underneath the bike in the centre, underneath the engine, and lift it. But paddock stands are much safer than that because they can get a bit wobbly on those lifts.
Yeah, front fork seals are one that tend to go because your bike's always leant over. And you tend to find a fork seal goes, it'll always be the left-hand side fork seal.
Okay.
Because it has all the weight pushing on that side. So,
what can somebody do to protect their bike from corrosion?
Well, what I tend to do is make sure it gets a good wash off prior to putting it away to get rid of all the traffic film, salt and other debris. Let it dry, and then there's quite a few products out there, but I tend to go with like a silicon based.
Would you ever use WD-40?
I have done in the past.
Right.
Yeah,
as a coating?
Yeah, just to cover metalwork and things like that. When I was young and tight, and I had tins of WD-40 about, it used to get that thrown at it. It doesn't hurt it.
And are there any bits of the bike that you wouldn't put WD-40 on?
Brake discs.
You'll be all right on your brake discs. You don't go fast enough to worry about that. So you'll be all right, Gremlin lad. There.
What's the proper stuff that you spray on those? Is it the APF 50? Is that the brand name?
That's one. There's lots of products out there now for
And you just spray them liberally over the entire
I spray
bike.
every single part of the bike. The
underneath
rims,
the bike and
rims, sort of forks.
And what does that do? What does that do? It puts a coating.
If you saw mine today,
it
puts like a protective film on, which is good for today, because when I wash my bike off tomorrow, it'll just sort of fall off it. It's
because all your chrome work will look dull today.
Yeah, it looks like an oily,
oily mess.
Yeah, it looks like looking underneath Gremlins.
They say the bike matches the owner. You just said it was very dull, did you?
Yeah, it was dull. All the chrome work was dull. All the paintwork looked very dull. And wiping your finger across it, it was like a greasy film over the entire bike, wasn't there?
That's called what? APF?
APF 50. Yeah.
It's just that nasty stuff called salt that we like to throw on our roads.
To be fair, the roads weren't that bad today, were they?
You'd be surprised, actually.
I don't know. When I came home, it had dried out and the roads were just white.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, it takes a few weeks of rain to really wash all that into the gutters and drain it off the roads. So it stays on the roads for a while.
So after every ride, you should always hose your bike down.
Yeah, you want to because that salt is just a killer for anodizing.
It's like acid, isn't it?
Yeah. I've seen people put the bikes away and not do it, and then you come and you take them out in winter, and there's a shape of a pad on the disc.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's there all year long.
And the salt crystallizes on the bike, and it makes your bike look like it's covered in white fur. It's really bizarre, but that's just eating into your chrome and metalwork and paintwork.
The worst bits are where aluminium and steel meet. That's where you get that oxidizing.
Yeah.
So the APF 50 protects it from that happening.
If you can get rid of that muck and grime first,
that
really helps out.
Good.
And other things like air filters, take out, clean. If you can clean them, if they're a K&N or if they're
what's the best way to clean the spongy type of air filter?
Well, I tend to find them if they're not a lot of money to buy new.
Right. Okay.
If you get into that point, you can, if they're proper spongy, cleanable ones, you can get a solution that you clean them with.
You can't just stick them in fairy liquid and hot water, then?
No, because you have to put a special oil back on them. Okay. Filter oil. K&N used to do a filter oil, and Puterline used to do a filter oil. And you put this oil to coat on them and let it sort of dry on and do that.
Yeah. What about for our listeners that aren't aware? What do you do for battery care?
Well, ideally, if you're not using the bike, you could do with a trickle charger, but one of these sort of
Optimate.
Yeah, they call these automatic ones clever things now. Register the voltage and the sort of
alter the charge power.
Yeah, they sort of take some of the charge out, then put the charge back in, then take it out and put it in, and it's sort of
it's supposed to recondition the battery, isn't it? I've got one on all of ours.
I think they're called Optimates.
I've got the Optimate 4s. There's different types of Optimates. I've got the Optimate 4s because the Harleys actually come with the Optimate adapter as one of the ports on the bike, so it's great. You don't have to do any of the fannying around, and it just
already built in.
It's already built in.
Optimate. I've got a regular battery charger, and just this time of year when I'm not riding the bike too much, I just plug it in overnight once a week, and it just prolongs the life of the battery.
So,
every time I pull it out.
I think you have to take your seat off or something to get to the battery to be able to do that.
No, I've fitted a little like you have on yours.
Okay,
I fitted one of those. It's just behind a side panel.
Yeah.
So I just pop one of the seat panels off underneath, which is on 3 grommets. Plug it in, leave it on overnight. I don't think you're supposed to leave these battery chargers permanently on. I mean, Optimate's different, but a regular charger like I've got, you don't want to be leaving it on for long periods. So I leave it overnight, 24 hours. Unplug it, and when I pull it out of the garage, it fires up first time every time, so that prolongs the life of the battery. Anything else you want to talk about, guys? Any questions, Gremlin?
How do you stop mice from eating your cables?
Put a mouse trap in your garage.
Hey, what cables on what?
On your bike. What about when they get into your seat and bury away in the foam?
Have you got a nest in your foam seat? Have you in your Lapera seat?
The only other ones are your oil and filters, but I tend to leave the oil and filter until the start of the season. Because if you pack the bike up over winter, you will get condensation build up in the engine.
Yeah.
Just naturally you get that. So if you're gonna You might keep firing your bike up.
Yeah,
I would say ideally at least once a month, but
you get quite a puff of smoke out your exhaust pipe when it's been stood for a week.
I tend to fire mine up every week. Let it run, let it warm through, turn it off. It just keeps throwing oil, gets oil everywhere, gets it through all the journals, over
up to the top of the engine. Yeah,
and it just gives everything another coating.
So listeners, please make sure they open the garage door when they do this. We don't want anybody dying of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, definitely.
Then come the end of the year, when the year starts, I usually change my oil and filter then, so I've got fresh, clean oil for the year rather than leaving it sat over winter with.
And fresh engine oil is very important because it not only lubricates your engine, but it helps with the cooling of the engine. So people overlook how important oil and filter changes are.
My granddad always used to say to me, it's cheap stuff is engine oil. For what it does, it's so cheap. You can't overchange engine oil.
Another little question for you. I mean, obviously, you and I on the mighty Hondas have hydraulic clutches and hydraulic brakes. What about those with the old-fashioned cable clutches? Like
Gremlin,
like the Harleys have.
These Harleys
cable clutches.
Well, you've got to polish the anchor so that when you're always ready to deploy that when the thing won't go around a corner.
So are they going for thickos like me? Just explain the difference between a hydraulic and a normal clutch, then.
Well, we started talking 25 years of technology is basically what we're talking. Yours is still basically a push bike, and we're talking motorcycles.
I think you're funny, you two. Yeah.
No, hydraulic is when you pull on your clutch or brake lever, it forces a plunger to push hydraulic fluid to shift either your brake pads or your caliper to push the pads onto the disc, or to affect your clutch and move the clutch in or out on the basket. With a cable, it's the same thing, but it's a physical cable pulling a push rod. So there's nothing wrong with cables, but they do have a tendency to seize up if they're left over winter. So just keep some oil, three in one oil down the cable.
The trouble with cables is like Sack. If you remember Sack, his cable snapped, and it's when do you change cables? How long do you?
I've had loads of cables snap over me over the years.
Yeah,
loads. But I did ride professionally for 8 years, so I used to go through a lot of cables, and for some reason a lot of speedo cables as well. I'm not sure why, but I was always breaking speedo cables, and experienced riders out there will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think if I read the description, it says front and rear black split 7-spoke floating rotors.
What's that on one of the new Harleys or on yours?
It says brake type. Does that make it easier for you lot to understand?
A rotor is the American word for what we would call a disc, a brake disc. They call them rotors. That's all.
It doesn't say whether it's cable or whether it's hydraulic. How would you know?
I think you've got cable clutch and hydraulic brake.
Hydraulic brake, usually, yeah. There's no way you're going to have a cable brake on a bike nowadays.
The only cable brakes you get are when you've got drum brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they have slightly moved on from
on your right hand handlebar where your front brake lever is. There's a little what they call a slave cylinder or a master cylinder that's up at the top that you top up with the hydraulic fluid. You won't have one on the left hand handlebar. It'll just be a cable that comes out from behind the lever.
I do have one on the right.
You have one on the right. That's your hydraulic brakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we have it. So we've got keep an eye on. Don't forget to change your oil and filter. Keep an eye on your chain and sprockets, cables. What else was there? Tires off the floor.
Yeah. Chain tension. Get some lube, good decent lube on your chain. Keep your chain lubed up.
APF 50 all over the bike, and charge the battery. Keep the battery nice and charged. Save you money in the new year when you pull the bike out of the garage and the battery's flat.
Yeah, and then come New Year, just spend a bit of time with a set of spanners and a screwdriver. Just check everything's tight and
raring to go for the season.
Yeah.
And I could always get that person called a mechanic to help me, couldn't I?
That's true. Yeah, you can do that.
Do your usual, Gremlin. Just buy a new bike.
New bike, yeah, there you go. So, guys, as you will probably have heard, week before last, a rock legend passed away and left us, moved to the Grand Lodge above, as we like to say in Freemasonry. Any fans of Meatloaf here?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say...
Let it dry, but yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say a few words about Meatloaf. A bit of a hero of mine.
Bit of a eulogy, is it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't want to go. I'm not going to do a biography on his entire life, but I just wanted to say a few words about Meatloaf. So, real name was Michael Lee Adé. He was born on the 27th of September 1947. He was actually 74 years old when he died. When was it he died? It wasn't last...
A couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Last Thursday. It was a week last Thursday, yeah. And apparently the official reason for his death was complications from COVID-19. So that damned COVID took Meatloaf, unfortunately. And as you know, as I said, he was a rock legend. He was a singer. He was an actor as well. He'd been in quite a few movies. But what I wanted to talk to you about with him was his the fact that motorcycles featured quite prominently in his work and in his life. He was a big motorcycle fan. He was specifically interested in motorcycle imagery accompanying his rock music. So if I can remind you of his very popular best-selling album, Bat Out of Hell, which came out in 1977, can you remember what is on the cover of that album?
Is it a graveyard scene with a motorbike?
On the cover of the album, it's a bike bursting out of a grave. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is it a red sleeve?
Red sleeve, yeah. Grave and a bike shooting out, and yeah.
But like the iconic looking chopper, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Apparently it was based on a Kawasaki, so I'm guessing it was a Kawasaki Z or something like that back in 77. So that was
what?
the right...
Meatloaf's American. It will have been a Harley Davidson.
Well, we shall see when I continue. As I continue, we'll see. So that was the first album. Bat Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell, came out in 1993. Again, featured a bike on the sleeve. And then the third album in the trilogy was also imaginatively entitled Bat Out of Hell 3. The Monster is Loose. That was in 2006. All three of them featured motorcycles on the covers. Did you know that trilogy of albums has sold over 65 million copies worldwide? The first album, the most popular one, stayed in the charts for over 9 years, and even to this day, it still sells over 200,000 copies per year. So that is a big selling album. He retired off the back of that one, or he could have done. The official Bat Out of Hell video, can you remember what happens in that video? Any ideas? Have you got any recollection of that video?
Because I saw his life story. It was last week. There was a documentary where he's there with his big white fluffy shirt. Or
that's right, his frilly shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, and the female singer next to him as well. And it's just a fantastic...
Iconic performance in that Bat Out of Hell video. He's got the frilly shirt on, he's got the black braces, and he's got the handkerchief, the red silk handkerchief in his hand. And he rocks out on that video. It's absolutely awesome. But it's cut with a scene of a biker riding a Harley chop through a graveyard. It's all misty and lit from behind, and he's riding this chop. Very atmospheric video. Did you know that the song Bat Out of Hell is famously about a gruesome bike crash? Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I thought it was Bat Out of Hell because he was, leaving the woman in the morning, like a Bat Out of Hell, I'll be gone. But apparently it's about a bike crash. And he actually says in the lyrics at some point about how he's lying next to a burning, fiery wreck of a motorcycle, and that his innards are spilling out of his grave. Yeah, his innards are spilling out of his body. And he actually says that his heart pops out of his chest and flies away like a Bat Out of Hell. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. What about the other famous anthem that he sang, I Would Do Anything for Love? You guys remember that one?
But I wouldn't do that.
That's the one, yeah. That was UK's best-selling single of 1993. An incredible power ballad. That was like his Bohemian Rhapsody, wasn't it? It was like 9.5 minutes. And the video features Meatloaf on well, it's not actually Meatloaf, it's a stunt double, but he's on a modified Triumph. So he's not riding a Harley in this video, but he's being chased by police. There's dozens of police chasing him. He's bombing along on this bike, and he ends up riding into a mausoleum and hiding. And then it goes into a bit of a bizarre Beauty and the Beast sort of vibe, doesn't it? Where he's like disfigured and he's looking at his disfigured hands and he's singing this rock opera type song. one of his movies, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. They actually wanted Elvis to play the part that he played, but obviously there's no way Elvis was going to do it. So Meatloaf played like a crazy biker character called Eddie.
Eddie, that was his only part in it. And this came out, was it Broadway or was it in Los Angeles? It was a stage show.
It was started off as a stage show.
And he was there with, oh God, I'm trying to think of the English actor.
Richard O'Brien?
No, he was also in Home Alone 2, and I'm trying to think what his name is, who was the main character.
Oh, Frankenfurter. What's his name? Tim Curry. Tim
Curry, yes.
Yeah, he played Frankenfurter, didn't he?
Yeah.
The sweet transsexual from transvestite from Transylvania.
Yeah.
That's the one. But can you remember the name of the song that Meatloaf sings in that? It's called Hot Patootie. Hot Patootie. And in the movie, he rides his bike up a ramp around the edge of the laboratory, and he's terrorizing all the guys in there. And there are two bikes that feature in that movie. One is you might be able to help here, Gremlin. A HD WLA, Harley Davidson WLA. No?
I don't know what the WLA stands for.
And a Kawasaki KZ900, which Pigpen, I'm guessing a KZ900 is a Z900.
Yeah.
It's got to be just a Z, what we would call a Z900. Right, so outside of his...
Just one thing about that bit of movie.
Yeah.
You know when it shows him riding?
Yes, the camera's behind him.
Yeah, and it looks like he's looking through a bike.
He's got handlebars and he's holding on to the... Yeah. Well,
when he first did that, on the ramp, he fell off.
Yeah.
So what they did was they got a wheelchair.
They put him in a wheelchair, didn't they?
In a wheelchair with a set of handlebars.
Yeah.
So when you see him on the bike, he's in a wheelchair. If you watch his arms, he's
from that angle. Yeah.
He's pushing a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't ride the damn thing.
Good old Meatloaf.
The Harley Davidson WLA was a World War II model.
That makes sense because it is an old-looking bike that he pulls up on. He's doing his best Elvis impersonation in that scene.
Yep.
Outside of his, if I can continue, outside of his rock and acting, he did have a passion for motorcycles, and I've got here in my notes. Evidently, he didn't ride them much. Oh, you're saying he didn't ride them at all?
Never rode at all. Yeah,
but he liked to sit on them in his garage. Or just spent time looking at them, gazing at them lovingly. He owned two bikes at the time of his passing, a Harley Davidson Road King and a Triumph Bonneville. So he liked his Triumphs as well as his Harleys. So that's Meatloaf. Personally, I loved him in Fight Club. He played a character called Robert Paulson. I don't know if you remember, he had the big male mammary glands that he pulls Edward Norton into and says, okay, now you cry. And Ed Norton starts crying. And I love the Dead Ringer video as well, which he was in with Cher. Yeah. Fantastic video.
7th to the 11th of June, 2022, the Bat Out of Hell tour will be at the Alhambra Theatre in Bradford. It's electrified audiences in London, New York, Toronto and Germany. Best new musical now. Jim Steinman's spectacular musical Bat Out of Hell hits the highway in a UK tour in 2022.
There you go.
That could be something good to go see if we could. If we could get a block booking ticket, saying
£46 each, or down to £38 for the tickets. Thrilled to the legendary hits of Jim Steinman and Meatloaf in this electrifying, spectacular experience. All the magic of a musical with a high-octane energy of rock and roll. Back into hell.
That'd be good to go see.
Yeah.
I think so, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So that's my little tribute to the rock legend Meatloaf. Rest in peace, Meatloaf.
Yep.
R.I.P. old lad.
We salute you.
Okay, welcome back, and it's time for
Email Corner.
Corner. Right, what have we got this month, guys? Anyone with an email?
Well, I'd actually like to start. I've actually got a message on Messenger, and this is from Ian Sanderson. Really loving your podcasts. Keep them coming. Regards, Llama, chaplain at East Kent Widow's Sons.
Another brother widow's son.
Yeah,
Llama.
You listen to us, and I've sent you a message back. We just recorded the latest one now, so you will be hearing what we're just actually doing. So
yeah, you've got a shout out. Nice one.
There you go.
While we're on the subject of shout outs, I'd like to say a big shout out to Dean Collins, who is one of our American listeners. He sent us a message on one of the Facebook pages that I post the links to. So hello, Dean. Hope you're enjoying season 1, and you've got a shout out in episode 1 of season 2. Right, who's next?
I've got one. Dear Untitled Chapter, having browsed your Facebook page and watched your YouTube videos on YouTube, I suspect Father Christmas has infiltrated your chapter. I didn't know Santa was a Mason.
Yeah.
All the best. And that's John.
Right, John. Yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about, and so do you guys. It's got to be Uncle Albert, as we call him, or Frank.
Yeah.
He's a spitting image of Father Christmas with his white beard and white hair.
He crashed his sleigh today into another motorbike, didn't he?
Poor old Frank. Yeah, so yeah, Santa Claus is a Freemason and he's a member of the Riding Chapter.
He is probably the most active rider out of every member in the chapter.
Yeah.
He got a new bike last year, was it? And within the first day, he'd done 500 miles.
Yeah,
because he wanted to have it serviced, didn't he?
I would say Frank will do what the rest of the chapter do together,
Yeah.
probably himself.
Yeah.
He did the full ride.
Portsmouth to Portsmouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
To Portsmouth,
What's that, 1800 miles?
Yeah.
Ended up in hospital with exhaustion, didn't he?
Yeah,
Part of the way up.
He overdid it a little bit on that one.
Because he decided to do a detour with us to do an extra 200 miles, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. He thinks nothing of doing a quick 400-mile ride up to Scotland and back, does he?
No. Frank, you're an inspiration.
You are, Frank. You're a bit mad.
At the grand old age of 80.
So you need to just maybe ease down a little bit on the mileage nowadays. Right, I've got an email here. Dear Yakka, so this is straight to me, this one. Dear Yakka, I demand a steward's inquiry. I'm doing it in an angry voice. I demand a steward's inquiry. Gremlin and House were clearly cheating during last month's quiz. Their win should be overturned and awarded to Pigpen's team. Hashtag right the wrongs. Hashtag justice for Pigpen. And that's from a listener.
A listener, yeah.
There you go.
Not brave enough to put her name down. Well, a listener, there was no cheating
Were you
going on.
You were texting, weren't you? Weren't you texting answers or?
It's telepathy.
Yeah, right.
No, we weren't texting at all. Well, it may have been the odd one. All right, okay.
Right, who's got another message? Anyway.
Well, I've got one here. Dear Ridecast, well done to House and Diesel in last month's episode. They oozed style, wit, and class. Maybe Yakka, Gremlin, and Pigpen should try this approach. Ooh. Yours, Podjacker.
Podjacker. All right.
Podjacker.
He's back.
What do you mean he's back? Who is he?
Podjacker. He sent us a message before, hasn't he? Do you remember?
Well, was he nice?
No, I can't remember what he said. Oh, I know what he said. He said, "Do you guys rehearse? Because it doesn't sound like you do."
Do you know what, Podjacker? How about you send us your details and you come on one of our episodes and show us how it's done?
That's a good idea. He won't, though. He won't.
See the style.
Yeah. He's right, though. House and Diesel did a great job last month.
They did a great job. But Podjacker, do you know what, mate? We're not that bad ourselves.
We're amateurs and we do the best we can do. So I'm just gonna cry.
Again, as my old granddad used to say, you can only with the you were given.
Beep 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 beep. Right. Okay, Pigpen, have you got an email? You got one?
Yes, I have.
Go for it.
Dear Yakka, Gremlin and Pigpen, following up on an email about protective clothing you answered last month, I have a couple of additional questions for you. Number one, where do you stand on full face versus open face crash helmets?
Oh, you don't stand on them. Don't stand on them. It weakens the integrity.
If Gremlin's wearing out, I like him to wear a full face, then I can't see him.
Right, serious point.
I like my chin, so I always go with a full face.
Full face, yeah.
I was down in Reigate yesterday and we went out for lunch to this this country pub, and there was a guy turned up and he had a KTM adventure bike.
Yeah.
And on my way out, he was stood there, so I had a bit of a chat with him. And he had no front teeth. And he said, and I said, "Oh, that's like a motocross helmet, isn't it?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you not wear, full face helmets?" He said, "No, but I wish I did." He said, a deer ran out in front of me last year, and he said, that's why I've got no front teeth. It smashed my face up.
Oh, knocked his teeth out.
Yeah. He had no front teeth. His bike was written off.
It is a cool look when you see Jax on Sons of Anarchy with his little sort of hat on, and he puts his shades on, off he goes. But yeah, if anything hits you, you wave bye-bye to teeth. And if you hit the deck, you wave bye-bye to jaw, skin.
Well, let's just all this doom and gloom. As you guys know, I went through a period of wearing an open face helmet was it last summer? Maybe the summer before. And I do like the feeling of wearing an open face helmet riding a cruiser. You're right. If you get an insect hitting you in the face at 50, 60 mile an hour, wow, it's like getting shot. And I wouldn't want to have an accident wearing an open face helmet, but I can see the attraction, with the wind in your face, you've got your sunglasses on. It's nice. But more recently, I've been wearing my full face helmet a lot more.
Modular helmets, I think, are great. Jag was wearing one today. I mean, I was actually wearing one today because you got the choice of, unlike an open face helmet, the modular will pull up all the way back, and you've got protection round by your cheeks, almost down to your chin. But you've also got the open face feel as well.
Yeah.
You just lose your teeth.
I think it's a personal choice thing. I don't begrudge anyone wearing an open face, and I've worn one myself a few times.
Yeah.
What was the second part of that email, Pigpen?
Noting Yakka's comment about my Alpine Star boots being posh.
Yeah.
Do you think expensive clothing brands warrant the prices?
Oof. What do you think? What do you guys think?
The question is it expensive just because it's got a label on it or because it's good?
Exactly, yeah.
And that's the thing to bear in mind, yes.
Not knocking Harley, but when you see like a Harley jacket at £500, you're paying £300 for the name and £200 for the jacket.
Agreed. You go into any bike shop and you'll see you'll see these textile jackets with body armor, and you'll see them for 200 quid and 800 quid.
But like you say, it's not, you're paying for a name on top of.
Yeah, I get that. I wear two brands of jacket. One is Harley and the other one is Belstaff.
Now Belstaff isn't a cheap jacket, but like you say, it's no less quality than the Harley one.
No.
But it's probably
cheaper than Harley, though, right?
No,
about
I doubt it. But also, to be fair, I bought all of mine on eBay.
Right.
Apart from my latest Harley one, which is the FXRG, so it's a waterproof leather. But I bought all my Belstaffs on eBay. You get great deals on eBay if you look.
Yeah. To summarise, I would say the answer to that question is really when you're paying for branded names like the Harley gear or the Alpine Star gear or whatever else, I think they are a little overpriced for what they do, and you can buy cheaper alternatives that are probably as effective for safety.
Yeah.
I think safety-wise, a lot of the stuff is tested to that same CE mark. Where your bonus comes with buying like the Alpine Star and things like that. The cut of the jacket and just like that general quality is just that bit better.
I don't doubt that they use better zip quality, better materials, probably better armor. They are better, but are they that much better to warrant those price tags? I don't think they are. What was it you were saying about fools and their money, Pigpen?
It's not foolish to buy something that's good quality. Sometimes you say buy cheap, buy twice. So.
I always say buy the best you can afford.
Very good, very sound advice, that one.
Do you know what, though? I don't know if you agree with me on this, Pigpen, but like your big your big shops, warehouse type shops like M&P, J&S in Leeds, they do a good budget range of bike gear, and I think it's good. It's reasonably good quality at a reasonable price.
We got Pigpen pals. Now, this is actually a relative of mine. I went down to Reigate yesterday to see my half brother, who is a Freemason. Was a Freemason. He's because of his age, he's not able to get to lodge. He's 89 this year, and his wife, my half sister-in-law, she's 90 this year, and she says, "I would love to be a Pigpen pal." And she's 90, and she's Pat. Pat Simister, big shout out to you.
Hey, hello, Pat.
Big shout out to Pat. Anytime, my love, you can be in the Pigpen's corner.
Hell yeah.
She does struggle with her eyesight, so I tried to show her a photograph of you. She thought you looked very handsome.
Well, I don't mind
And then I turned it the right way around.
Yeah, poor eyesight means they have to go by feel, so it's okay.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
So a genuine Pigpen pal there. So
brilliant.
Well, very nice to hear it.
Okay, guys. Well, I think that's us done, isn't it? Stick a fork in me, I'm done, as they say. We'll catch up with you all next month on episode 2. So it's a big sign off from Yakka. Over to you, Gremlin.
It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from me.
Catch you later, guys. Have a good one. Bye.